Welcome to Open House, the real estate and mortgage show on News Talk 580 CFRA.
If you have any questions about mortgages or real estate, give us a call at 521-TALK. That's 521-8255.
Or text 1-800-580-CFRA.
With Frank Napolitano and Paul Rushforth, here is Steve Gregory.
She's right for once. My goodness, it is Paul Rushforth and Frank Napolitano.
We're blessed with Paul's in the studio this week.
Why is it the first day I come back from vacation, I'm already buying Frank breakfast?
What?
Already.
What?
And
Already.
away we go.
I don't know. My bottled water is not breakfast. Steven, you can give him credit for a change.
Yeah, I will give Paul credit. Shout out to Paul. Thank you for the breakfast.
My pleasure. But
And the best part of for Paul is that Frank is here to witness it. So
Yes.
he doesn't have to chirp him anymore.
Well, and Stephen, just so you know, Stephen's our producer in the back room. It will be very busy because I'm back on the show, so the ratings will probably go up now. Now that we don't have to listen to just Frank. Although shout out to John and Dora.
You keep taking shots at your team.
No. Shout out to John and Dora, who did an amazing job on the radio. They do a great job of filling in for me. And yes, I must admit, I've been a little bit, let's say absent of a little bit.
That's a nice polite word.
Well, listen, I had the pleasure of being able to spend time with my dad, and then I had the pleasure of going to Slovakia and Czech. And,
Blah, 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 blah.
But now I'm back.
Violin's going.
I'm back. I'm back for full time, which is the beauty of all this.
You both fail to realize I'm the glue that holds
Yes, you
all
are.
of this.
100%. I'm always giving you credit for that.
Yes, you are.
Always giving you credit.
Let's get into business.
Two
Let's
out of
go.
what? 861 you missed?
Yeah, something like that.
Are we 861?
Yep.
God, we're going to be good soon.
We should be much better.
Yeah,
huh?
we really should. Oh,
Hey, the July numbers seem like they just came out, and it's almost over in August already.
well, the July numbers came out a while ago.
Yeah, I know, but it seems like they just came out, and now we're almost at the end of August.
Well, because I've been away, I just read them. So yeah, but yeah, you're right. You're right. I think what we're going to see in August is going to be a bit of a slowdown. I know we're very slow right now. It hasn't been a banner August for our team. So, usually I'm not going to say what we do correlates with the market does, or what the market does correlate
because
what we
you
do.
make the market.
Well, I do make the market for sure. But at the same time, usually they coincide with each other. If we have a bad month, the market has a bad month, and vice versa. July was a banner month for us, and as we saw in July, the numbers were pretty decent. And in August, I think we've had a much slower month, a tougher month, and I think what we're going to see when the numbers come out, I think we're probably going to see that it's been a slower, tougher month, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think the number of sales potentially could be down.
Not August to August, though.
Well, let's see. Year to date, I think we're going to see a little bit of a dip. I think August is going to be slow. I think what's happened is because we didn't have a spring market, I think what's probably happened is our spring market was very delayed. And instead of being a little bit slow in July, I think what's happened is our spring market is really pushed into June, July, and August. Although August, keep in mind, this is everyone's last chance to go on vacation. This is everyone's last chance. Kids are getting ready for school, so they're working on that.
Yeah, we're a week away.
Sports are starting. Like I look at my son when he's playing AAA hockey. So a lot of his friends right now, they started, mid-August. They're already on the ice and that. So summer's over there. So parents are focusing on sports and school and vacations, last-minute vacations. So we're going to see a bit of a slow August, and that's what we've seen. We're probably not going to pick up. I believe it's the 3rd the kids go back to school or something. Yeah, so on the 3rd.
It's a week Tuesday.
It's a week Tuesday. So the French kids are going back this week. So the French kids go back this week. Then the English kids go back the week after. And then what we usually see is a September market that slowly picks up some steam into October until we slow down a little bit in November and December and start working on the business rather than in the business.
Does it take mid-September before things start to pick up again?
Yeah, I mean, once everyone goes back to school and people are starting to realize, okay, this is the new norm, making the lunches and, the homework and, the sports and all that. And then let's get back into our search for homes. And I've seen a couple of videos this week, which I strongly agree with. They've been videos from other realtors, and I totally agree with them. They've been saying exactly what I've been saying for a long time. It's really time to start getting back into the market. We're seeing pricing, even though we're seeing pricing up a little bit, we're starting to see pricing on certain product in certain areas really dipping down to affordability ranges. So I know I'm looking for property right now. I'm actually personally very robust when it comes to looking for properties. I ask Greg all the time. I'm like, Greg, you find an ugly house, you call me right away. You right away. So, and the team is the same thing. Now is the time to buy because product and prices are down a little bit in certain areas. And if you can get in now, once the rates start to come down and the market starts to take off, you're going to be laughing.
And I got to ask Steve, what's an ugly house?
I'm always looking.
Define an ugly house.
Listen,
I don't know what an ugly house is.
The states do it right. I mean, they're all for getting ahead, and if you can get ahead, great. Canada's not like that. Trudeau with his stupid flipping taxes and his stupid, capital gains taxes and increasing all that stuff. It's hard to get ahead in Canada. But when I talk about an ugly house, I'm looking for something that I can fixer up, or something I can rip down walls and cosmetically open it up and make it so much nicer. I'm very lucky. I'm dating someone who has an eye for design, so she
doesn't have an eye for men. That's
for sure. Sir, sorry, Petra. I know you're listening, but apparently you don't have an eye for men.
But you can't flip it. What are you doing? You can't flip it. What are you going to do? You're going to keep it and rent it out? Is that the plan? Or because you can't flip it?
Yeah, I get that.
Right?
You can flip it. It's just going to be very costly.
Yes.
It's going to be very costly.
Does it make sense to buy an old rundown house and fix it up just enough to rent it out? Is there value there?
Oh, absolutely. Certain
depends
areas.
On the rate.
Yeah.
Like it depends on how much you're financing of it, though, because it's hard to cash flow these days.
It is really hard. But I'm looking for ugly, dilapidated. I like things that the foundation's great, the windows are great, the furnace is great, the big ticket items are done. But you know what? The carpet's ugly.
Hasn't been touched in years.
The design is terrible because they need to open up walls. Kitchen's ugly. Bathrooms are ugly. I can do all that stuff, and I can turn it around and make a profit on that. That's what I'm looking for. But I'm telling you that you should be in this market looking for product right now, whether it's a rental property, whether it's a new home for you, whether you're a first-time home buyer. It is time to get back into that market, because I think what we're going to see in 2025 is we are going to see our market take off again.
And now selection's best, right?
Oh my God. I'm looking for, like I said, I'm in the market personally now. So I'm really, really combing the market. I'm shocked at the selection. I mean, you used to be able to, if you're looking for a townhome, you used to have like 7, 8, 9 comparables. Now you have 22, 23, 24 comparables. There's a lot of product on the market, and it's going to be absorbed. As those rates come down, it's going to be absorbed, and really quick. We talk about we don't have enough product on the market to absorb. Once first-time home buyers get off the fence and start that trickle-down effect, it will be absorbed. It will be absorbed, and prices will go up. So get in now.
Are more people starting to contact you, Frank?
We've seen an upswing in pre-approvals, but they're not quite there yet. They're not as confident as they'd like to be. Some interesting news this week. Again, I mean, September 4th, kids go back September 3rd. September 4th is a nice key day for us because Bank of Canada will lower prime rate by a quarter point. Pretty well solidified it over the last couple of weeks with some of the numbers that have come out. But what
about 50 basis points?
I don't see it right now.
No?
I don't feel like it's coming.
Even though
the
States is now talking about, we're definitely going to start reducing. You don't think we would come down?
So
50?
Jeremy Powell made an interesting statement this week, very interesting statement, where his concern right now is unemployment in the U.S., and he will do whatever it takes to make sure that unemployment doesn't get away from them. So, in his feeling, he will lower rates to ensure that unemployment doesn't hit critical stages. So. That was welcoming news. We saw the bond markets react once he made that speech yesterday. So, expect fixed rates to start coming down as prime rate comes down now, where what we've seen them come down, but not to the same level as prime has come down. I think what we're going to start to see now is as Bank of Canada and the U.S. start to lower their prime rates, we're going to start to see the bond markets react to it as well, and we're going to start to see them come down too. So I would not be shocked. Again, I'm throwing it out there. It's just I don't know that it's going to happen, but I would not be surprised by the end of this year that we have a 5-year fixed high ratio mortgage that maybe starts with a 3.
Wow.
Nice.
Which would be phenomenal. And again,
when do you predict that? When?
By the end of this year, I think, if the bond markets do what I think they're going to do based on what Bank of Canada and the Treasury are planning to do, and the Treasury is a key one because the one thing that everybody was worried about, if Bank of Canada lowered prime rate, our Canadian dollar would sink. Well, our Canadian dollars remained pretty well on par with where it was, and we've had a 0.5% discount. So, we're going to get to 3/4 before the U.S. even make a movement. U.S., 50-50, whether it's going to be a quarter point or 0.5 point. But we know it's going to be a drop on September 18th. It's just
they haven't dropped yet.
They have not. the money is starting to lean towards, after his announcement yesterday, the betting is starting to lean towards 0.5%. And that's critical because then that might open the door for Bank of Canada dropping a 0.5 point in October. Inflation numbers are under control in Canada now. So you take away, again, strip away shelter cost, and we're actually at 1.7, 1.8. So we're well below the 2%. We've still, there's still some, I think it'll still be a little bit of a roller coaster ride throughout the rest of this year when it comes to inflation, because there's going to be months like last year, oil was really low in the fall, and now it's a little bit higher. So that could gear it the other way, but we should see shelter costs start to come down. So hopefully balances itself out, that the inflation stays at the 2.3, 2.4, 2.5 range in Canada. And then in the U.S., we're starting to see it come down. So again, expect lower interest rates and significantly lower interest rates if we compare today to the spring market, which is when I really think the real estate market's going to open up, is in the spring. I'm not convinced. I think we'll have a decent fall, but only because the numbers will be better this fall, because I think last fall was weak because we had seen Bank of Canada resume raising in June and July, and it basically spooked everybody. But I think that this year we're seeing them come down, and I think it'll motivate some people to maybe buy this fall.
Well, exactly, because if you think the spring market's going to take off, when do you buy? Right now, right? Yeah. You get it now. So the fall market, you take a rate that's going to be advantageous to you, knowing that the market is going to start to pick up in the spring market.
Boy, if you could flip, wouldn't now be the time to buy and then flip in the spring?
Hence what I'm doing, Steve.
Maybe. Again, I'm not convinced. Yeah. I'm one of the few that's not convinced that we're going to see tremendous increases in property values. I just feel like we need property values to remain stable for first-time home buyers to come off the fence. If house values go up too much, then we're in the same position as we are now. Despite the fact that interest rates are lower, first-time home buyers are going to say it's still too expensive.